What's up, family? Welcome to Renzera Farms. And today I just want to take a moment to kind of take you through the action. When we are harvesting some of our honey. Um, and just so as you can see here, this was the last hive. I'd finished kind of harvesting all the hives around the farm. And the reason why I decided to do this one last is because I had my suspicions. There might be African killer bees in these hives because there have been reports. And I've seen some of the guys at the farm, they've been beaten before. I myself had bee one or two bite me when I'm passing outside the fence. As you can see, the gum trees on the other side. So I suspected that there were some killer bees. So I was like, let me just do this at the end, you know, just in case there's some crazy stuff that happens with these bees. And as you can see from this video, you can see and these bees were relentless. They were biting. They were biting and biting and biting non-stop from the beginning. Once I opened the hive with the smoke, they were biting. Typically what happens when you are harvesting honey, right? You smoke, and the bees go down. They usually go down to the brooder chamber at the bottom. So there's no, you may have one or two bites, but they don't bite like crazy. They never stay like relentless all over you like this. At least that's been my experience at our farm, but this is different. And you can see they're all over the place. And at the end, I end up having I think almost like 60 bites. And the crazy thing about these were biting. They were biting and stinging through the soup. So, which is crazy. So yeah, enjoy. Yeah, and I do have a funny story about these African killer bees. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go, collect harvest honey with my grandfather. He was a good beekeeper. Those traditional ones, which are carved from tree trunks. So I remember one time he was beaten by over 100 or so. Um, African killer bees. My grandmother had to spend almost hours just removing those heads from all over the body. Because the way we do it in Zimbabwe traditionally is like you go at night, you rip off clothes, you get those branches and grass, then you burn to kind of keep the bees away. So after that experience, my grandfather just gave up the bee harvesting. So he never again went to harvest bees. Of course, he was older, but he was really good at what he was doing. But after that experience, because he was in bed for almost a week, recovering from those things. So yeah, these bees. I mean, as you can see, at the end, by this point, I was kind of giving up on this life. Anyway, there wasn't much honey in this one. I mean, there was honey, but as you can see, they had sealed off all these combs. So I decided to give up and just leave these bees alone. And this, I mean, they were crazy because you see, they followed me almost like 100 yards from the hive, and they were still biting. I've never seen bees this aggressive. So yeah, if you know of any methods, I think the next step will be finding a way to remove these bees in a nice way, because we definitely don't want any African killer bees on the farm. One, because they're dangerous to our dogs, our animals, our workers. You know, everyone on the farm who works on the farm. Because if you get anywhere closer to this apiary, these hives, you get beaten. So only this one at the corner, that's the one that it is African killer bees. So if you know of any better ways to remove African killer bees from a hive, comment below, and I'll see you in the next video where I'll be just kind of showing you some of our processes from harvesting honey, processing honey, packaging the honey, making candles and stuff like that, and of course, like, comment, and subscribe on this video. See you next time.